Okay, so I did a stream earlier today. This is just gonna be like a short 1 hour stream. I wanted to get some reading in before I go to bed, and anyone that wants to get a session in themselves and chat with me for a couple minutes at the end is welcome to join. So let's get started. Thanks for stopping by, Ju. I don't know if anyone's there. If anyone wants to chat, I'll hang out for a minute or two. Otherwise, this was kind of an impromptu session anyway, so. Oh, cool. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly am I pronouncing your name? Is it Chinese? Is Jew Chinese? Oh, okay. So that's like a typical French surname. Okay, I was trying to pronounce it in like kind of a Chinese way. I don't have any friends in my program that are from France, so I haven't had to try to pronounce French names before. So I wouldn't even know how to go about it really. That seems like a fun nickname. Most of my nicknames, I feel like, in school were uh, meant to like insult the other person. Luckily, none of them stuck. My name's not the easiest to make nicknames out of to begin with. One of my friends, actually, his first name and his last name are both common first names in the United States. So, depending on like who's talking to them, they'll just call him by his first or his last name. So they just like alternate between them. Are you going to be studying more tonight? I think we're in the same time zone, so it's not too late. It's 7:16 p.m. here. I usually go to bed at like 9 p.m. though, and I'm going to bed early tonight because I haven't been sleeping as much as I should recently. Are there uh, are there any names in the United States that are also common in France, or is it a pretty different set of names? I'm guessing Canada has similar names to the states. My sleep schedule used to be so erratic. If I Part of the reason that I'm streaming is actually to control my sleep schedule. Because I would try and like cram as much as I could into my days, which would just result in me like procrastinating on going to bed. Um, so it doesn't really make sense logically. If you go to bed sooner, you have more time in the next day. But I'd always end up just staying up super late. Do a lot of people in France know English? Is it pretty common for people to know English? My day was really good. I mean, most of it was recorded, so Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Like, if I keep doing this, most of my year is gonna get recorded on camera. Uh, so I didn't really do much outside of the streams today. Just ate and prepared some meals for tomorrow so that I'm not like, you know, some of the meals I've been making in my kitchen have been like pretty sad because if you don't meal prep before the streams, I only have 10 minutes. I can't really cook much in 10 minutes. So I did some meal prep today so that I actually have some real food to eat tomorrow. How was your day? Um, I guess you still have a decent amount of time left since you're staying up late. I haven't noticed any mistakes. So you're good enough at English that I'm not noticing anything. People from the US, I think, are notorious for being bad at learning languages. Um, yeah, I just think there's not as much of an emphasis on it here, and the language classes you have in school are really bad. Yeah, very few people get fluent in a foreign language here. Was it snowing a lot in Canada today? Is that like why the weather was intense, or was it just like super windy or super cold? And what makes a day intense? Like a lot of classes or rushing to get assignments done last minute, or just like a lot of work in one day. Oh, there was a snowstorm over there. It hasn't been snowing much here in the last like week or so. So I guess we've been lucky. Wow, that's a lot. Whenever I go to internships, like I've gone to a couple internships during my PhD, uh, I always have to multitask like you're describing, and it's chaos. So I understand. Uh, Thankfully, I'm at my university right now, so I don't have to multitask. Like job and study are like the same thing. Yeah, I'll be studying tomorrow. Uh, I study pretty much every day. I think I've hit every day for the last like almost 2 weeks. I think tomorrow will be the 2 week anniversary of me starting these streams. What time do you usually wake up and go to bed? Most of the people that attend the streams are you, Larry, Shashank, and this username that goes by Star, but they never like have a conversation. They usually just say hi. And almost all of those people I named show up later in the day. So uh, I think, but you're all in different time zones, so that might be a coincidence. I'm unsure. What do you do for a job? If you don't want to say, you don't have to. I'm just curious. Yeah, that's how I used to do it too. My sleep schedule was like very random, kind of a reactive sleep schedule to whatever I had going on. But most people don't wake up early, which is pretty nice. So if you like, since I've been getting up early, you know, anything that's planned for the next day is usually after I wake up, since it's pretty early for this time zone. 6 or 7 a.m. is pretty early. I don't start until 6 a.m. But yeah, I also like to sleep late. I could sleep for probably 12 hours without having an issue. Like if I just didn't set an alarm and just went to bed, I could easily sleep for 12 hours. So I have to play tricks with myself to wake up. I like have a timer that basically turns all my lights on like 20 minutes before I wake up. Uh I guess that's the only trick I got going on right now. I have 3 alarms too, which is kind of chaotic. Yeah, in the past for me, like 9 or 10 would be pretty early. So I think my previous sleep schedule 2 weeks ago was very similar to yours. Nice. Are you like at a library, or is it all online for selling the books? Do you have to do a lot of reading for law school? I don't know much about law school, but my like internal model for it is that it's just like a it sounds like a lot of reading. Uh I'm not sure though. Oh my gosh, 25. It's so you I don't know if you have an iPhone, but like on the iPhone in my alarms app, if you scroll through all the alarms that I've made, there's basically like an alarm every 10 minutes for like the full 24 hours. It gets a little bit sparse at like, like weird hours like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. It'll get a little bit more sparse, but there's still like times in the past where I felt the need to set an alarm for some like crazy time. So it's kind of like a record of my insanity. So I can relate. That's cool. I always thought it'd be cool to work at a library. Reading's a big hobby of mine, which is part of the reason why I'm hoping some people in the future will join the book club. So that I have like someone to talk to about the books, because most of my friends aren't avid readers. So whenever I'm reading a book, it's kind of like a solo endeavor, and I'm hoping enough people subscribe to the channel that I can have some people join my book club, have some people make their own book clubs in the Discord. I always thought it'd be cool to work at like a library or a bookstore and like meet other people that read and be able to talk about stuff. I don't know if you've seen How I Met Your Mother. It's like sitcom, like an American sitcom. That's where like all my impressions of what like a law degree entails come from like Marshall just reading these like gargantuan books. My PhD is going pretty well. I'm 2 years into my PhD now. Uh, I'm almost done with classes. I only have a couple more classes left, so I'll be transitioning from like balancing classes and research to just doing research is like a full-time job basically. And it'll probably take 2 or 3 more years for me to graduate. So if more people start, coming to the streams, I might do these for quite a while since I'll be in school for a while. But we'll see. Not the subscription like increase has been like very slow and steady. So, uh, yeah, I'm still kind of feeling out the streaming thing. Yeah, you should watch How I Met Your Mother. It was so good. I I like binge watched it my freshman year of undergrad, and definitely my grades were suffering because of it. I would just watch it almost all night with the friends in my dorm. Yeah, PhD is I'm kind of lucky. My professor's pretty chill, so I can make it as intense as I want it to be. I'd say in general it does have a certain level of intensity though, because publishing is difficult. So if you want to graduate, you have to publish, which is a hard thing to do. So it takes a lot of time. Uh, but I try and enjoy the process. I'm not in a rush to graduate like a lot of PhD students are. I'm enjoying the process, and it was kind of a last minute decision for me. I chose to do it because I liked the lab I was working in. So it's been pretty enjoyable for me. But I know people that are think very differently and like really want to get out. If you don't want your grades to suffer, you should probably wait to start watching How I Met Your Mother until you have like a little bit of a break in your schedule. That's part of the reason I don't watch a lot of TV is because I have no self control sometimes. Like if I start a good show, I'm just gonna watch. I'm just gonna keep watching it. So it's pretty rare that I pick up a TV show nowadays. I think that's also a reason I liked anime when I was younger because they're so short. Like if you like it and you binge it, it's over like 3 hours later. So that was kind of nice. Yeah. Well, maybe try anime if you haven't. It's good for like short binges unless you watch like there's really long ones, but I usually don't watch them. Like I've heard there's one called One Piece that's like super long. So you still need to be careful, but most of them are only 12 episodes long, which is like 4 hours. Okay, you mentioned One Piece. Yeah, we're on the same page then. one of my friends caught himself up in One Piece through like some crazy binging. It was insane. Yeah. Right now I have a system where I only watch one anime every season, and there's 4 seasons. So I really only watch like 4 anime a year right now. And my brother gets to decide which one I watch because he watches kind of them all, and he likes talking to me about it because we used to watch it a lot when we were kids. So every season I tell him he can pick which one I watch. You watched One Piece a second time? Yeah, he was super happy when we set up the system where he could recommend stuff to me. Uh, because without it, he would just want to like spoil anime for me every season, even though like I plan on eventually watching anime more often in the future. So I don't want them to be spoiled even if I'm not watching. And he used to get so frustrated with me. So this system works much better. He can still talk about something with me. You sound like my friend's girlfriend. She's half Japanese, and she loves One Piece. She owns, I think, every volume pretty much of One Piece. So you can imagine how much like space and money that was. No, my brother is pretty close in age. So I'm 25 and he's 22. So when we were kids, that felt like a long time, but now that we're adults, it feels pretty small. And I'm sure, in 5 years it'll feel even smaller. Do you have any siblings, or are you an only child? You don't have to say if you don't want as well. Yeah, it is pretty cool. She has a pretty crazy manga collection. I do have some manga because, as you know, I'm studying Japanese, so I'll kind of brute force my way through a manga with like a online Japanese to English dictionary every once in a while. I'm a very slow reader in Japanese, so I prefer reading stuff in English or Spanish. So one day I'll be faster. Nice. I always wondered what it was like to have a sister or like a older sibling, because I only have one sibling, my younger brother, and I'm the oldest of all my cousins. So my entire generation of my family, I'm the oldest. So I always had kids hanging off of me, even when I was a kid myself. So I'm just used to being the oldest and kind of like tending to children. Yeah, I know it'll be faster eventually. There's just so you have to learn so many words like Spanish. It took a while before reading was enjoyable. Uh, like thousands and thousands of words. You know English, so you might know how it is. But Japanese, I only have a vocabulary of like about 2,000 words in the software that I'm using to learn it. which is not nearly enough to read without it being frustrating. But I have 6,000 words in there that I'm trying to finish in the next like year and a half or so. I actually kind of want to ask Larry for questions I have about Japanese, but I don't want to bother him. So we'll see. I've actually written down questions that I'm interested in asking him, and if he keeps coming to the streams, maybe eventually I'll ask him. I guess I could ask my friend's girlfriend too. I don't know her that well though. I guess I don't know Larry super well either. But yeah, I know he does like language learning and some like language instruction, like making language learning resources. So I was thinking he'd be a good person to ask. I'll have to formulate my questions better instead of just like showing him something and saying, asking like what it means. I'd want it to be a more direct question. Okay, I'll stick around for one more minute, but then I think I should go. Uh, but I appreciate you sticking around and showing up to the streams. Like I haven't like gotten that many subscribers so far, but thankfully the ones that I have gotten have been showing up a lot, so that's been really nice. Because otherwise it would just be me talking to myself. Uh, how about Spanish? Are you asking like how good my Spanish is, or asking Spanish questions, to Larry? No worries. Like, you don't have to thank me for the streams because they're actually like kind of selfish. I want to make myself more productive. And I think the pressure of the camera and like people potentially showing up motivates me to be like more productive. So it's for myself. My Spanish is pretty good. Like I can. Speaking is really hard for me though, because I never really practice. I basically just read and watch shows in Spanish. So I actually don't really consume media in English very often. Like typically, if I want to relax and watch a TV show, I have a VPN that I just like go to Spain or Mexico. I send my use a VPN so that I can access the Netflix dubs in Spain or Mexico, and I'll just watch the shows I would want to watch, but I just watch it in Spanish. And this is the next book I am going to be reading in Spanish. Yeah. Sorry about that. I lost track of the timer. I do have a friend to talk to in Spanish, but uh, he's from Argentina, so I don't know. The reason I don't talk to him is a combination of multiple factors. One, it's kind of embarrassing because I'm so bad. I know I need to talk to someone to improve, so I'm gonna have to go through that embarrassing stage eventually. Uh, but yeah, one, it's a little embarrassing. Two, I don't want to trouble him. Like if people have tried to use me to learn English before, like my program's mostly international, and if they're above a certain level, it's fun. but if they're really bad, like over time, it eventually becomes like a little frustrating. Uh, I know that sounds bad, but uh, I want like talking in Spanish to be fun for both of us. I don't want it to be a burden. So I'm trying to get as good as I can before I like utilize him as a resource. And then the third reason is he's from Argentina, which is a very different it's probably one of the more unique accents of Spanish. So I'm unsure if I want to like speak the way he does, because then it would the way he speaks is most useful in Argentina, and I would want to be able to be easily understood by anyone in Latin America or Spain. So I might want to get like my base of speaking with like someone from Spain or like Mexico. That's probably a long answer. Sorry, but that is my answer. I'll eventually do it. Cool. Yeah, I actually want to study abroad in Spain as well. Uh, I through one of my grants, I can actually go to another country for a year, fully funded. So I'm considering using that option to go to Japan or Spain. I haven't like completely decided if I'm gonna do it yet, though. I'm not sure. I've heard Madrid is cool. When I was in Spain, I actually went to Spain once with my family, and we went to Malaga, and that was a really cool place to live. But I don't know if there's a university that has like engineering near there. I don't really know the area. Were you in Madrid, or where in Spain were you? Okay. I've heard good things. Did you like it? Feel free to tell me if you didn't like it. You don't have to tell me what I want to hear. And if you're trying to learn Spanish again, I highly recommend Avatar: The Last Airbender, the English dub, or sorry, the Spanish dub. It's it's pretty easy to digest. So maybe you're more advanced than that show, but uh, I think it's one of the easier shows to understand if you're just getting into it again. And then Legend of Korra, the season that follows, is also pretty easy to understand. Yeah, people stay up late in Spain and go to bed. They wake up late as well. I remember when we were there for vacation, we would wake up and the city would just be completely dead until like 10 or 11 a.m. I think if I went to Madrid, I would adjust my sleep schedule accordingly and wake up later and stay out later. Okay, I think you have studying you have to do. I don't want to hold you back. And I also have sleep to catch up on, but I appreciate you coming. Oh, I did have one last question actually. So you're from France and you're studying law in Canada. Does that like carry over, or are you planning on like staying in Canada? Like I don't know how specific law school gets. No worries, don't worry about it. Like most of the time when I stream, it's like slightly depressing because like not that many people show up or no one shows up, and then it's just me in silence during the breaks. So don't worry about it. This is a welcome change of pace. Okay. And the law degree you get in Canada will be like pretty universal where you can leverage it for work when you go back to Europe. Cool. Nice. Okay. Well, I'll let you get back to studying for your degree. Thanks for coming. Adios.